in your time in the White House, how often would you see Hunter Biden? I know that's a broad question, but if you could just estimate how often he was around while you were around, appreciate it.
Very rarely, if at all. Well, in the West Wing, very, very rarely. You know, if there was a state dinner, or if I was over in the West Wing, in the East Wing doing a meeting with the president, he happened to be in town. So not very frequently, but, you know, a half dozen times a year in those kind of settings.
Did you notice an uptick ever in, particularly towards the end of the administration when Hunter Biden was around?
Yes, towards the end. I think I don't have perfect recall on this, but for an extended period of time, towards the end, I think he was living with the president, you know, as the family sort of gathered in those final weeks of the presidency.
Did you ever have any concerns about Hunter Biden being in a meeting that it was strange to you he was there?
I want to be clear, there was never anything in terms of him being anywhere close to national security or classified information. Somewhat during those final weeks and some of the pardon discussions, it wasn't inappropriate, and the president can have whoever he wants in a room, but it wasn't. He also wasn't a member of my team, which is everyone else who was in the room. So I don't want to. It wasn't necessarily specific to him, but the idea of someone who's not part of the White House senior team, the president had opted to be in the room.
Which pardon discussions?
It was towards the end. What comes to mind is the family discussions, but I don't know. That doesn't mean that was it. It was the pardons towards the end, of the very end of the administration, when it was. And I think it was, you know, a few meetings, not many meetings.
Do you remember what Hunter Biden would say during those meetings?
I don't remember any of the specifics, no.
Was Hunter Biden, is it fair to say that Hunter Biden was a political issue that you and the White House had to deal with during your time as chief of staff?
Yes.
Who was in the White House? Was there anybody with a Hunter Biden portfolio?
You know, I think the White House counsel's office had some appropriate interaction with Hunter's legal team, because some of the issues, you know, involved White House equities or the president's equities. I think the communications team spent time on this because it was, as you said, a major political issue for the president.
Have you ever spoken with Abby Lowell or another member of Hunter's legal team?
I met Abby Lowell once at a state, well, it wasn't, I don't know if it was a state dinner, but some function at the White House.
When was that?
It was when I was chief of staff. I don't know when, but it was just a pure social conversation. He introduced himself. I didn't even know who he was until he said, "Hi, I'm Abby Lowell."
And just to be clear, you never spoke with any other, to your knowledge, any other member of Hunter Biden's legal team?
Not to my knowledge.
How often would you see James Biden at the White House?
A couple of times, 3 times. I don't know. I mean, not more than that.
When was the most recent time?
I don't know. I had, you know, I didn't know him at all, and I've had interactions with him at the level of like 3, 5, 10 minutes in total.
Was he ever in any of the meetings regarding conversations about pardons?
No, not that I know of. Nothing that I was in.
And have you ever spoken with anybody who was part of James Biden's legal team?
Not that I recall.
Was any member of the Biden family part of conversations regarding pardons of the Biden family besides Hunter Biden?
Not that I recall. Not in meetings that I was in.
And just to be clear, I'm including the First Lady in this.
That's what I was thinking through. I have no recollection of the First Lady meeting.
Shifting gears. When did it become your